everybody to my top 8 league game number 4. This one against Christian. I think it's gonna be pretty interesting. So I started off with a first 5, as you can see before you. Decided to go for a little bit more, something different with the refresh. It's an idea that I'd had in the game with Astria. So I decided I'd maybe try it here. So he decided to go first. Starts with the owl. That's kind of annoying. Again, I wish if you watched the last video, remember I said I wish I'd put in a ice trap. It's a really great card to deal with first round owl. In this case, though, I could discard a Magic Purity and it wouldn't kill me. It would be unfortunate, but chances are we're not summoning all this stuff anyway when we're facing Vicky. So if he wants to get the memory gen off, he has to go for the elf summon now. Not sure what else he decided to start. Okay, hidden power. Looks like he's gonna go right back. It's gonna be a fight over dice. So that's 2 of my dice gone. I don't have a lot to spare. I could still theoretically get the elephant refresh and light S, assuming that I got the purity dice back from using the elephant and bounty, of course. Speaking of which, we'll do that now. Doesn't really matter too much what we roll. Probably going to be spending them on the elephant anyway. The only dice that really matters to us at this point is the charm class, which we have already. Shadow Spirit as usual. Okay, so that's interesting. He discards a ninja. I think he only had 1 in the deck, so that sort of rules it out as being an option here. Yeah, there's a purity set up for the elephant. So he goes for his own elephant. So that's going to be interesting. Essentially, with his hidden power first 5, we're put on the same amount of dice. I get 2 from bounty. He gets 1 from hidden power and 1 from Vicky. So that's kind of interesting. He's also gonna buff his guy up a little bit. which means that in a 1v1 trade, my elephant is going to be toast, which is pretty unfortunate. Now it's a dilemma of what exactly we want to do. I'm gonna play the turtle go rock. Okay, not really sure why. I guess I'm just kind of trying to stall to see if he to see what he does. I mean, was it really surprising he was gonna do that? Now he could get a Shadow Spirit in his owl. That seems like a fairly reasonable assumption of what his plan was. Not really much else for us to do at this point than to get the owl. Oh. Yeah, okay. Now, unfortunately. Okay. Well, to start with, it's not even my turn. I'm being impatient. He hasn't done a main action yet. 2, I accidentally grabbed the charm class there, which is not what I wanted, because that's for refresh. So we've just sort of tipped our hand a little bit. So he goes for the owl. And we really don't want him to memory drain us, so we're actually gonna take it out with the lioness and just take the punch to the face. I'm hoping he goes for the Shadow Spirit, because if he takes the die away, then I can't go for the refresh, which is too bad. I mean, essentially it wouldn't really make any difference. He would end up without a Shadow Spirit, and I would end up hitting him for 6 with the elephant. So it's kind of a net 0 in that case, really. I mean, I think his best option is to really... Okay, he's gonna go for the Shadow Spirit. I feel like he may as well take the 7, really, at this point. Though I guess what his idea is he wants to trade. He wants to trade elephants. If he can stop my elephant and keep his around, obviously that's gonna be... It's gonna be big. Nature doesn't really make too much difference what I get back. So there we go, goes for the elephant. And like there's not really a lot of choice. I sort of have to just I have to take it on orc. If I had meditated last round maybe and got a frog, then a trade would have been feasible. I would have taken 2 from overkill still, but then I could have pinged his elephant and would have died. As is, even if I counter, he recovers before the charm die comes off, so he's gonna live. So yeah, I'm just gonna take the hit to the face. I have a little bit more burn in my deck than he has. Obviously, as I'm running the nature, so yeah, he's got a block with the Shadow Spirit, which is a good block too, because then no overkill damage. But now we get to go for the refresh. and still get in a hit for 6. So essentially we lose 1 more life, but have a lioness to trade for it. So that's pretty good for us, really. So 12. Just perfect for 2 more elephant hits. That's all we need. Should be easy peasy. Famous last words. So we get to go first, which gives us some interesting options. We can try and force the elephant trade because it's whoever's attacking that gets the overkill damage. So it's to our advantage to do that. The other option is to go for the Holy Knight and try and use it in conjunction with, say, a frog die to take out the elephant. In this case, I'm going to decide to go for see if he'll take the elephant trade. If he doesn't, then he's really close to dying just from molten golds and frostbite, which is totally okay with us. So he does it. I don't think he really has a ton of choice there. So we're probably going to have to, we'll have to either meditate or bounty to get that hidden power off. Same with the Niall, though I have a feeling we won't really need to Niall. Though it is an option. We could get the Holy Knight out, put devotion on it, and then say Niall. Possibly get a Holy Knight swing through. That would definitely be very good. Pretty heavy on divine dice, which he knows our deck is heavy on divine dice, so he's actually gonna pressure those. Now he goes for the owl. I think at this point I trade, yeah. So I guess I don't really want to lose any of my cards. Niall is the one that we're most willing to lose, but even then, it's got potential still in combination with devotion to be able to get a swing through. And there goes abundance. And more of our divine dice. So he knows what's up. He knows to try and drain those away. So at this point, it's pretty clear we're not going to be able to do the devotion Niall Holy Knight. That would be 5. Well, actually, theoretically, we could get 1 more from bounty and 2 from hidden power, but I don't think we're gonna get that opportunity. Instead, I'm gonna go ahead and just go for the lioness and then bounty, get another divine back. Oh, and we also get an illusion power, which is nice. Now we can play hidden power if needed. And we're still sitting on dice for frostbite as well. So at this point, we're kind of running low on illusion. I would tend to want to play the hidden power now before we get entirely locked out of it. And we'll grab those divine dice back. Which, I mean, chances are that he'll just steal away. But we might get the opportunity to play the Holy Knight before that. Alright, so we're going to see a abundance. Mind Probe is interesting. Oh, and he meditates away an illusionary cycle, which is pretty rough. That would be what we were trying to get rid of with Mind Probe. So we will go for the Holy Knight now. I think I prefer using the Divine die. Okay, keep the Divine. I just don't want to use the Charm. We can use for Mind Probe, and the Nature. That frog could take out a Shadow Spirit theoretically right now if he doesn't draw into another book. And we want the class for Frostbite. So those are all more valuable. It's definitely true, though, at this point, the Ceremonial Power does us nothing. I think the only Ceremonial card in the deck is Choke, so... yeah. We're not going to be recurring an Elephant or Holy Knight back to our hand with that, so... may as well use it when we can. Now, this does mean that we don't threaten Choke, which is kind of unfortunate. It means that he can Shadow Spring as he likes. So he's going to go ahead and go for the Shadow Spirit. I kind of feel like it would have been better to just drain away the Nature die. Then the book isn't exhausted. And with that, we can as well get this way we get to punch through with the Holy Knight, so that's big. We're into 7 now. We're just trying to figure out how much damage he had there. He had taken 6 from an Elephant, 2 from Elephant Overkill, and then 5 from the Holy Knight, for a total of 13. 18 minus 13 is 5. So we get the Mind Probe, and we see 2 illusionary cycles. So that's great. Obviously, we're taking one of those out of the game. I'm not sure. I'm sort of keeping the Lioness just in case he brings something else, like maybe throws down a Holy Knight or something like that, just as a little bit of protection. Because, of course, I could swing with it, which would put him in Molten Rage. We also have Frostbite. And he is actually all out of illusion dice, so... he's kind of sad about that illusionary cycle. It is pretty unfortunate. When Vicky's lost 2 of them, it's really hard to get that sort of end game combo going. Instead of drawing into more mana with abundance, you're drawing into more cards that you can't play. So he makes a good call, meditates the top 2, and goes to the abundance so that he can grab the illusionary cycle. So I'm expecting that he's about to go for a meteor. So I'm gonna decide to use the lioness before it dies. And then meditate for a divine power. I think my idea is to put a devotion on one of the lioness, well, on the less wounded lioness, to help it live through a meteor. Though really at this point, we have Molten in our hand, and I don't think he's running Vanish. So the game, we pretty much have it. Yeah, so I'm going to put the devotion on the Holy Knight. That makes more sense than on the Lioness, really. I think my original idea was maybe on the Lioness if I wasn't going to swing with it immediately. But if I am, then I was guessing he opened memory for another Shadow Spirit book. It's kind of a touch situation for him right now, how exactly to see if he can make it work. Yeah. So he's going to do the meteor. And the heal gets him out of Molten Gold range, so that's good. And then, oh, looks like he didn't open memories for the... Not sure what he opened memories for then. Maybe the heal? Maybe the meteor. Not sure. But unfortunately not a Shadow Spirit book. Now, if we can draw another frostbite, then we can still close out here. We did not, but we did get an elephant, which can pretty much do the same thing. Do overkill damage is pretty hard to stop. Throws up the turtle defense. And gets a devotion on the turtle, which means it will actually live through our elephant. Which is good as protection against elephant. However, if we can get some damage on it with a lioness first, it'll still be able to finish the deal. The other thing is we could use like a frog or something like that, but the problem is we kind of want those for molten gold. I'm going to try to decide if I should bounty. Don't think it's a good idea. Though really, with that many hidden powers, we we shouldn't be in trouble of not having enough nature dice. So really using a frog would be a perfectly reasonable option. It's going to start hitting our illusion. So we get a frog and a mask, which is pretty good roll. I think maybe play the elephant now. Tricky thing about that is we might accidentally lock ourselves out of illusion. Though actually we can get one back from purity, so should be all right. Yeah, to even play the elephant now, and then we'll have an illusion that we can use hidden power to get back frogs if we need them. I'm cheating there, trying to get 2 dice for magic purity. Because clearly I don't have enough dice. So he goes for the Shadow Spirit. Decent chance he probably has Illusionary Cycle in hand, otherwise he wouldn't be spending his last illusion dice like that without Shadow Spring or anything. So he's actually gonna buff up that Shadow Spirit. Okay, looks like I'm gonna use the frog, and then guess I'm figuring I can get the dice back from hidden power if needed. Now, I think he does have some redirect in his deck, so yeah, he's gonna redirect onto the Shadow Spirit. Which means we don't get the overkill because it's illusion. But it doesn't mean that he's sort of wasted that charm die. So we can still swing both of them though. Get 2 from the lioness. And then molten. Tabletop simulator physics, always interesting. So he goes for another abundance. We get the frostbite. Looks like he's just trying to decide what to do for a side. Just passes it back to us. So we go for the hidden power to get the frogs. And he throws another heal, gets back out of range. So that's pretty crazy. However, if we play the hidden power to get 2 more dice, then we can double frostbite and molten, which is 5. So I'm not sure if he drew into another illusionary cycle. And that's it. It's a good game. He was saying he probably should have Shadow Spranged earlier, or maybe not spent an illusion earlier, because he ended up getting locked out of it and then having just no dice. You see he has the hidden power there and the Shadow Sprang. He could have like redirected some of the frostbite or something like that. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching, and I will see you in another video.